So before we get into metal yoga itself, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm Helen. I teach yoga, and just recently got into teaching heavy metal yoga, which is something that I've kind of wanted to start doing for a long time.
Mm,
I'm also a professional musician, so hence the interest in combining music and yoga
yeah.
at the same time. I live in Kent with my lovely family, and yeah, that's kind of me really.
So when did you first get into metal?
So I got into metal first when I was in my teens. So it kind of started with Nirvana when I was about
Mm,
15. And then after
okay.
about sort of 96, 97, taste started kind of getting heavier and
Oh
heavier.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then yeah, it just went from there really. Sort of taste started getting heavier, heavier, heavier from around the time when I was about 15 or
Mm.
16.
Well, music is something that helps some of us, myself included, through difficult periods in life. Has this been true for you personally?
Yeah, definitely has. When I think of like that sort of early part of my teens, I remember once I heard Slipknot's first album. I think I
Mm,
was, how old was I? I would have been 18 when that came out, and it completely blew me away. And you know that feeling that you get when you like this this is where I belong. This is what I love. This
yeah.
is awesome, and I'd never heard anything like it before. And it was just one of those kind of seminal moments that you just think, oh, this is amazing. And like when you're that age and you're that sort of awkward teenage, sort of
Yeah.
shy, socially very awkward, not really knowing where you fit in, and then you hear something like that and you're like, well, actually I don't have
Yeah.
to fit in. I can just be
Mm,
me. And I think this is kind of what metal does, right? And then recently, I mean, I'm in my mid 40s now, still listening to Slipknot, by the way. And
good lad.
you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think metal's kind of helped me find myself again at this transitional period in my
Mm,
life, because there's whole periods where I didn't really listen to metal at all,
all right.
or I listened to it, but it was kind of on the periphery of other stuff
Yeah.
that was going on in my
Mm.
life, and then sort of hit mid 40s, retrained as a yoga teacher, like not that
Mm.
it's a midlife crisis or anything like that. And it just helped me out of this rut that I got stuck in.
Yeah.
And I rediscovered all those bands that I'd listened to in my teens. I mean, Machine Head, like rediscovered
Mm.
Machine Head, rediscovered Deftones, Korn, all of those, like, because I was such a
Mm.
new metal fan in my teens. So it
Yeah.
was that like rediscovery of all of that stuff that had helped back then, and funnily enough has helped now.
Mm. I mean, is there any newer bands that you've discovered that you want to tell us about?
Oh God, loads, loads and loads and loads. So tastes have definitely evolved
Oh yeah.
over the years. So I love listening to so many different genres of metal.
Yeah.
Like, just it's not like I grew up on new metal because that was the huge thing at the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, it was like Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
I'm a few years older than you, so yeah. I was on the
probably not much.
I I was there when like Maiden managed to get a well, it was round about the Seventh Son era. So we had the number one single with "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," which was a
Yeah.
bit later on than that. We had Maiden get. I mean, Nico McBrain appearing on the Sooty Show. That was the sort of that was the era that I sort of hit my getting into metal
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
but doesn't it
first
grab
band,
you? There's like that one
yeah,
thing, isn't it, that grabs you and you're like, oh my God, this is what I've been
yeah,
searching for.
oh
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, I saw Metallica back when they were still doing theatre tours.
yeah, that's
In
mad, isn't
fact,
it?
it was
I'm
the last
going to
theatre
see them
tour.
next month down in Cardiff. I'm
Oh
so
right,
excited.
yeah.
So excited. Never seen them before. And
Mm.
and I'm not sure whether I'm more excited about seeing Metallica because it's Metallica, or Gojira because they're my absolute favourite. like just
Oh yeah.
complete absolute favourite. Love them. So I think I might actually weep when they come on stage.
Which ones, Metallica or Gojira?
Oh, Gojira, definitely. Gojira.
Mm.
Yeah. My son's looking forward to Knocked Loose. But
Mm.
yeah, definitely Gojira is my thing at the moment.
You've got a metal editor as well. I mean, mine's heavily into Sabaton.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So we're in a bit of a Paleface Swiss stage
All
at the
right.
moment as well. Love a bit of Paleface Swiss. I took him to see them in January for
Mm.
both of our birthdays, and then yeah, we've got some good gigs coming up this year. Actually, we've got so we got that one. Then my husband and I are off to see Arcane Roots at the beginning of July, which is
Right.
going to be great. And then what have we got? Oh, we've got Amon Amarth coming up at the end of the year as well.
Oh, they are
Which,
fantastic live.
and again, I've not seen them before. And Orbit Culture and Soilwork are the
Wow.
supporting bands. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god! And then we've
Yeah,
got
that's a hell of a bill, isn't it?
it's a pretty good one. And then we've got Unprocessed as well, which again, they're a new one that I've like discovered a couple of months ago. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So lots of metal on the scene this year.
Yeah. So switching gears slightly, how did yoga first come into your life?
Okay, so yoga's been part of my life since I was a teenager, and my mum and I had this book that we used to kind of look through and see which poses we want to have a try of, and did it really badly, and it didn't really kind of go anywhere at that time.
Yeah.
But I'd always and again, it's a really funny thing because like metal, I'd always felt this kind of calling, like in this kind of sense of home, whenever I
Yeah.
did yoga, which I didn't feel sort of anywhere else. And then I sort of practiced on and off over the years, and then properly discovered it after my second son was born. I had the worst pregnancy insomnia, and then
Right.
he didn't sleep, and just screamed.
Oh.
I remember going to this yoga class and begging the teacher for I was like, please just help me sleep. Give me like, can you help me? Like, please help. I can't sleep. And she put me onto a website called Do Yoga With Me, and it's like lots of free yoga classes.
Oh yeah.
Utterly hooked. And it was from then that I started practicing seriously, and then that led me on to wanting to become a teacher.
Oh, do you ever feel like there was a disconnect between sort of the metal side of you and the yoga side of you, especially when, well, considering the stereotypes? Because if you're into yoga, you're very ethereal, and you have a high, excuse me, you have a higher mind. Whereas if you're a metalhead, you are very much grounded and very aggressive, according to stereotypes. Anyway, even though we all know they're not.
This is the thing though with stereotypes, isn't it? So I mean, yeah, I guess when you don't know that much about yoga and you think it's all about being really bendy and really kind of zen and good vibes only and all of this, and it's such a load of rubbish. Like the moment I started my yoga teacher training, and getting used to the philosophy side of it, that was the spark of connection between yoga and metal for me.
Yeah.
Is that the whole point of yoga is to strip away all of those stereotypes about yourself, to strip away all of the stuff, like the stories that you build up, like I am this or I am that, and get through to that kind of spark that is inside, that is unchanging, that's always there, it's you. And I feel like that's kind of the same with metal, right? Because it's you. You're not trying to pretend to be somebody else. You're not you're not sort of caring what other people think. You are going through what you're going through, and this metal becomes a tool to be able to find your true self again. And it's just the same with yoga, always exactly the same. And I think that's what really drew me to both. I didn't really connect it at the time. It's only since I'm a lot older and I say wiser, but not really. But have been
But
through.
is that not true wisdom, knowing that you don't know everything?
Yeah, Bill and Ted. Is that quote,
Well,
isn't
dust
it?
in the
They
wind,
go
dude.
like, is it Socrates, isn't it? And he's like, true
Yeah.
wisdom consists in knowing that we know nothing. That has stuck with me a lot
Mm,
throughout the whole thing, and knowing if I could go back and speak to my 20-something-year-old self
mm,
and tell her the stuff that I know now, I think I probably would have had an easier time of it.
yeah. So, I mean, you've touched on it already. Metal is immersive and can be. I mean, you think about things like doom, drone,
Yeah,
atmospheric black. It's almost a meditative thing going on there.
yeah.
I mean, is that something you've ever consciously tapped into during a yoga session?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point of them for me, is that that music is connection to that part of you that brings out that meditative side, that
Mm,
helps you to focus inwards, right? Because like when you speak to yoga practitioners in general, they're like, no, 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 you have to do it in silence. It's all about
mm,
connecting with yourself, it going inwards, and you can only do that in silence. And I'm like, yeah, but what
mm.
about all those people that it doesn't work for? Like
Yeah,
that being silent doesn't work, and they need sound to be able to
yeah.
focus. And I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm a musician. Like that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
sound is part of who I am, and is part of like how I communicate with people
Mm,
and communicate with the world, and it's how I kind of make sense of the world. And so when I'm when I was thinking about my own classes, music always figured in my
yeah.
classes, whether that's like ambient kind of yoga music or whether it's my
Mm,
metal stuff. There's a place for silence. I do classes where I don't play music, but I love the fact that that sort of doom, the drone stuff, and the
mm.
instrumental stuff particularly. I've got like a huge playlist of stuff that
Oh,
is
yeah.
instrumental, which is great. And it just helps to focus you in a way
Mm.
that works for you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's individual, right? There's like a million different subgenres of metal, and you're going to
Mm.
get something that suits everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got ADHD,
yeah,
so well, recently diagnosed. But something
yeah.
that's gone all the way back is that in here there is no silence.
No, it's
No matter
never, is
how
it?
hard I
Yeah,
try, I've tried all these before I got the diagnosis through with the depression. So, oh yeah, try using meditation and just try. I couldn't
no,
because there's always something going on here. But if I had have used music,
yeah,
I would have probably been
yeah,
I would have probably been able to actually
yeah.
lock in and do it. But oh no, you got to do it. You got to sit there in
You've got to sit
silence.
there
You've
in
got to
silence, and you can't.
just
Like what
no.
what happens when those millions of thoughts come flooding
Mm,
in? And yeah, okay, the part of the practice is to be able to filter through those and
yes,
still
yeah.
keep focusing your mind where you want to go. But it
Mm,
doesn't take into account things like ADHD.
no, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't take into account trauma, right? For
Mm,
those
yeah,
people who have had traumatic experience where silence is really not helpful.
yeah.
And the more I sort of look into different sort of different ways of approaching my teaching. And there's
Mm,
this whole kind of section in one of the yogic texts that I studied called Nada Yoga, which is the yoga of sound. And there's
all
this
right.
huge chapter, and it kind of starts off with Ahata Yoga, which is the struck sound, which is kind of where sound baths and things like that come
Oh
in.
yeah, yeah.
And then you've got Anahata Yoga, which is the unstruck sound, which is as you're approaching enlightenment, as you're kind of getting
Mm,
into your meditation, it's all the sounds that you hear inside that
mm,
are the approach of the onset of finding your true self, which I
yeah.
love. I mean, it's just so fascinating, and it's that kind of spurs me on to explore different genres of music in my classes
Mm,
to see what works for people, because one size doesn't fit all, as we know.
yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, when you're building a playlist for a session, how do you start?
Or so this I could talk about this for hours. So
Hey, look, we've
so
got time.
So I build my playlists usually around one song. So I'll pick a song that ties in with a philosophical theme that
Mm,
I'm thinking of. So for example, my friend Anna and I did a retreat up in Birmingham back in
mm,
March, and the theme for my class came from Gojira because they're amazing, and it was their song "Stranded," which was actually the first song of theirs that I heard, and it again
mm,
blew my mind. And it's the line that goes, "The cure is somewhere in the silence, but I'm crushed by the noise inside." And I was like, what an
mm.
amazing, like, it's so yogic, it's
Yeah.
so meditative, and it's so like you were saying about that constant noise that's going on, so that you
Mm,
can't find yourself. But the cure is in stillness, and it's not
mm.
necessarily in the silence of what's going on around you, but it's that ability to kind of focus inwards and go to
Yeah.
that place that is always there. And so I plan my playlists around sort of that one song,
Mm,
and the poses come from there as well. The meditations come from
yeah.
there. The guided relaxation at the end comes from that song, and then I kind of slowly build the playlist
Mm,
around that song. So it'll usually start off with like maybe an Isis track, because that's quite
mm.
nice and meditative, and it's usually got
Yeah.
that nice slow, so you can breathe along to it. It's great.
Yeah.
And then it kind of slowly builds in intensity through the warm ups. Then you've got that focal point at some point, that track that is
Mm,
like the kind of the crux of the whole class, and then it kind of tails off towards the end. And
mm.
so I've got my metal yoga playlist is, I think, about 250 tracks long. So every time I
Well,
hear something, I'm like, right, that's added, and
yeah.
then I can just draw from it and build up my playlist. And the other thing I do is especially on the retreats, is I ask people what they want to hear,
Yeah.
because it's for them, right? The reason we're putting on these events
Oh, yeah.
is
Yeah.
so that people will enjoy them. And what's really been brilliant is the stuff that people send me to add to the playlist. Is
Mm,
stuff that I wouldn't normally maybe put on, because I'm like, oh well, it's a bit heavy, or it's a bit
mm.
frenetic for the yoga playlist. So the one lady for that same retreat wanted "Sick" by Slipknot, and
All right.
ordinarily I probably wouldn't have put that on because it's quite a lot. But the
Yeah.
energy in the room when that song started playing was just awesome.
Mm,
Like, and I've kind of paired it with a particularly energetic pose, and it just worked
yeah.
perfectly. So, yeah, that's there's this kind of arc of
Mm,
how the class flows, and then how the tracks flow to
yeah.
complement that arc, if that makes any sense.
Mm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, do you find that sort of heavy metal yoga attracts people who might otherwise feel uncomfortable and, well, actually, yeah, let's face it, unwelcome in sort of your conventional wellness spaces?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a huge part of why Anna and I started our classes.
Mm.
So Anna, I discovered through Instagram, actually, when I was searching heavy metal yoga, and she was like the first person
All
that
right.
came up,
Yeah.
and I noticed that she'd already started doing classes, and it was this kind of getting away from that love and light and good vibes only
Yeah.
thing that a lot of yoga studios seem to put out there. It's like, come
Mm.
here and you'll feel better, and you'll feel this and you'll feel that. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe people don't want to just feel better all the time. They want to feel like themselves. And if
Yeah.
themselves is covered in tattoos with a million piercings and a band name t-shirt, then that
Mm.
is awesome. That's why we're there.
Mm.
Because, when you walk into a yoga studio that's all kind of pastel colours and plinky plonky spa music, as a
Yeah.
metalhead, you stick out a bit, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and for some people, they couldn't care less, and they're like, well, I'm gonna, I belong in here just as anybody else does. But for a
Mm.
lot of people, that's not the case, and they want to go
Yeah.
to a place where they feel comfortable,
Yeah.
which is kind of why we chose to, especially our retreats. and my individual classes, I choose gig venues
All right.
because they're places that people go to feel comfortable and socialise, and they, you know, they know them. And you know, I see people walking into my classes. I use the Red Lion in Gravesend, which is it's quite a famous live music venue
Yeah.
in the area where I live. And people walk in, they go, "Oh my God, I was here the other week seeing blah 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 blah," and
Yeah.
it's so much different where there's yoga mats and fairy lights everywhere. So it's quite nice. It just gives that extra level of you are welcome as you are.
Yeah.
Like you're enough. This is your space. You know, you come here to socialise, and now you're coming here to look after yourself. Yeah.
So, well, metal, as we know, it's stereotyped as angry or negative by people outside looking in. But the likes of us, we know how cathartic it can be. Why do you think that misunderstanding still exists? Because I mean, metal's been around since what, the late 60s?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why is it persisted, do you think?
Well, so I mean, it can be angry, right? Like
Oh
it
yeah.
is, you know, it can be negative, and it's all the things that make us human. You know,
Yeah.
this is why I think we feel such a strong connection to heavy music, because it 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 is our humanity, right? And I think people take a kind of snapshot of maybe some lyrics that have caused controversy, or a band that have caused controversy, and
Yeah.
they then generalize this whole section of society. And I mean, I think kind of, you know, that how you express yourself in the way you look as an
Yeah.
alt person. I mean, don't look particularly alt, but that doesn't mean that I don't
Yeah.
love the heavy music, you know. And I think people love to kind of pigeonhole, and they love to generalize,
Oh
and
yeah.
they love to
Yeah.
stereotype, because it then makes sense in their little kind of bubble.
Yeah.
But I think when we look at metal and we look at it as an outlet to release that anger and to release that frustration, rather than letting it kind of push down inside of us and let it build up and build up and build up, it's going to explode eventually, right?
Yeah.
And it's better to have that cathartic experience of like being in a mosh pit, screaming along to your favourite lyrics,
Yeah.
having those lyrics express what you're thinking as well. It just makes you feel a bit less alone, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
that there's this whole community of people that are going through what you are and coming out the other side. And I think that's kind of what yoga does as well, because
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
you know, its true teachings is about sitting with that discomfort, sitting with that grief, that anger, that frustration at things that are happening. It's not about shutting yourself away and being a recluse and feeling amazing and zen all the time. You know, it's about equipping yourself with tools to cope with life, with you know, all the stuff that happens to you, because you know, unless you're going to run off and live in a cave for 30 years where nothing can happen, you have to live in the real world, and sometimes
Oh yeah.
it's a bit rubbish, and things happen to you and you can't control that, but what you can control is how you react to it.
Yeah.
And if listening to metal and having that release when you're out on a gig, or when you're at home and you're dancing around your kitchen like I do, then you're much less likely to go out and punch someone in the face because you're angry all
Yeah.
the time. Do you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
and it's
totally. Yeah.
yeah, it's that I think, and that's another really really intrinsic link between metal and yoga that I'm loving exploring, is that like that sense of I'm okay as I am. You know, yes, I'm feeling this anger, but I'm allowed to feel this anger, and I'm going to work through it, and I'm going to process it, and I'm going to release it, and then I won't feel
Yeah.
angry anymore until something else comes on.
Yeah. I mean, have any of your clients shared stories with you about what metal yoga has meant to them personally?
Yeah, lots of people. I mean, it's kind of gratitude usually for a space that accommodates them. It's like, you know, thank you for putting this on in this place. I felt immediately comfortable when I walked in. For the yoga, it helps them feel calmer and more focused, stronger, helps them feel better in their bodies, helps them feel mentally stronger. And then, the other thing is, like, I get emails all the time saying, "Oh, that playlist was amazing. Thanks for the music. It really spoke to me that day. I needed to hear that song at that point." And that's wonderful. I mean, it's kind of why I keep doing it.
Yeah, but do you put your playlists up anywhere?
I usually chuck them up on my Instagram a day or two after the class. I ought to get better at emailing them out, and do it's another thing to add to my list of I ought to be doing this.
Oh yeah, I think we've all got
which
lists
is
like that.
which is about this long. Like
I'm also a Warhammer nerd, so I have something
nice.
similar in my pile of shame.
Ah.
So like the models I've bought, they're still in their boxes. I've not built them.
Yeah, they'll be there. They're waiting for you when you're ready.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
But again, this is the reason, like you said, people sort of come and speak to Anna and I after our classes and after our retreats, and it's kind of why we work together, and it's kind of why we work with Heavy Metal Therapy as well, who are a kind of charity peer support group. So you can see my t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. My heavy metal therapy t-shirt
on Friday, because I run a D&D role-playing game session.
Oh, was that
Friday once a month? Yeah.
Oh my god, is that online?
No, unfortunately, it's in person.
If you ever run an online one, let me know, because I'm desperate to try D&D.
Okay, we might have to think about doing that. I'll talk to Kate on Friday.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Well, it won't be alternate Fridays because I've got other plans on Fridays. In terms of like the meditative side of it, I actually started pole dancing last year.
Oh, that is so cool.
So just for a similar kind of, the thing we do on a Friday is very meditative.
Yeah.
Because it's all about what did you say? One of the instructors said, normally we're teaching you how to do various moves, but in these sessions on a Friday, we're kind of teaching you how to move like you.
Yeah. I
just wish the music was a bit more sort of metally.
Well, there we go, metal pole. Well,
yeah.
Right? there's a space for that then.
Yeah, I mean, the showcase is coming up. The student showcase is coming up in October, and I've already started putting together something to Pussy Liquor by Rob Zombie.
Brilliant. Oh my god, that's going to be an experience, isn't it? Yeah. But sort of coming back to sort of people sort of needing this stuff. I mean, it's about building community, isn't it?
Oh yeah, totally.
All the things that we do, Anna and I in Heavy Metal Therapy, and you with the podcasts and stuff, it's all about building community and people's well-being.
Yeah.
And how metal can improve it. I think is that for me it's hugely important, because it's helped me and it's helping the people that come along to my classes, evidently, because it's getting more and more popular.
Oh yeah.
And when you sort of type in heavy metal yoga into Google, like, we're everywhere now. It's brilliant. I'm in Kent, Anna's in Bristol. There are loads and loads and loads of teachers in America. Loads of them.
Yeah, I've seen the one that always pops up for me first is one in Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, even in Texas.
Yeah, people are doing yoga to metal. And it's brilliant. Yeah.
Now, something I always ask everybody I interview is to pick 3 songs that I will play after the audio only version in the podcast.
Ooh, okay.
So these three songs could be something that have got that are deep and meaningful to you, or they could be just three songs you've picked off the top of your head, or it could be three songs off your main playlist. So, Helen, can you give me three songs with possibly a bit of background on each one that you want playing after this interview?
Okay, good. So here we go. Number one is the best song in the entire world ever, and it's "The Gift of Guilt" by Gojira.
Right?
Like the lyrics to that song are some of the most yogic things I've ever read.
Mm.
It is fantastic. So that one, that's my top number
Yeah.
one song. Then I'd like Nero Forte by Slipknot because I did my
Right.
first ever handstand to that, and now every time I
Oh,
listen to
nice.
it, I'm like, yes, I can. I'm
Mm.
a badass and I can do hard stuff. And that song is just that. That is brilliant. And then number three, I would like. I would like something by Paleface Swiss, but I'm not quite sure what. With Hope You'll Be Damned by Paleface Swiss, I
Right.
think, because that's an absolute
Mm.
banger and I love it.
Right. Whereabouts can the people watching or listening to this find you online?
Okay, so the best place to find me online is probably Instagram. It's where I'm
Hmm.
mostly where I post most of my stuff. So my page is Metal Yoga Kent, but
Right.
the retreats page is Metal Yoga Retreats on
Right.
Instagram. Then I've got my website, which is www.helenmanenteyoga.com. And
Mm.
then if you're kind of out Bristol way, Anna is Chickpea Yoga,
Right.
and she does classes sort of out sort of Bristol way. So
Mm.
if you're in the UK and you are looking for metal yoga, that's where you can find us.
Right. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh,
And
it's my
it was an
pleasure.
absolute pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, I could have gone on for hours.